All right. Hey guys, what's up? It's Scott So and Nutter, and we have a special guest in the house, the Hook, very own Ray Bones. What's up, Ray?
Gentlemen, what's going on? Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you back on. It's like we're getting the band back together again.
Yes, sir.
Very
Yeah,
long
man,
time
it's good
ago.
stuff.
We did this many a time back in the day during the COVID days, and
Yes.
yeah, we have a lot of cool stuff going on. Obviously, as most of you guys know that have watched, Scott and I we rebranded and we're doing our own thing now, and we discussed that in the first episode. So we're very excited, and we got some good plans with Ray, and we're going to be doing some collabing and some cool stuff. So everybody should 100% tune in for that because we got some good stuff
Absolutely.
planned.
And speaking of good stuff, we have a lot of good stuff to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of hot stove stuff going on. It's actually been kind of quiet the last couple of days after the weekend frenzy with Yamamoto. But we want to talk a little bit outside of Yamamoto. There's a lot of other big name free agents out there that we want to get into. We're going to talk a little bit about our guy, Tommy Cutlets. We'll talk about the frauds that are the Dallas Cowboys. And we'll ask Ray what is wrong with the Philadelphia Eagles. And I have a surprise money that I bet down today on my Super Bowl favorites. I want to get your guys' opinion on that and whatever else comes up, guys. So let's get started right away. Let's go with Yamamoto. Nodder, what is happening in the Yamamoto world on this Wednesday evening?
Well, to be quite honest, nothing's happening with Yamamoto right now. He's had some meetings. We saw, the big news was he requested meeting with let's rewind a little bit. So Uncle Stevie decided to take a trip to Japan in his own jet and spend some time with him. And then he had Yamamoto over his house for dinner, which must have been spectacular. I wish I was a fly on the wall for that dinner. You know what I mean? Because that must have been quite the conversation.
Spicy tuna rolls for days.
Dude, listen. I mean, I would love to know what was on the menu in all serious, because Uncle Stevie brought in whatever Yamamoto eats and whatever he likes. He brought in a pro to cook it. You know what I mean? Rich, what's up, buddy? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. So that happened, and then he had a meeting with the Mets, and then he had a meeting with the Yankees. I guess the meeting with the Yankees went very well, and then he requested second meetings with both teams, which was officially confirmed by MLB, reporters and things like that. And we all know how the MLB can be. It's like half the time you don't know if it's real or not. But listen, Yamamoto's holding everything up. Let's be real. He's holding up free agency. He's holding up Blake Snell. He's holding up a lot of these players and see how much money they're going to get. I don't know what you guys think. Do you guys have an opinion on where he's going to land or what team you think he's going to sign with?
Ray, what do you think?
I'm honestly, I'm a little disappointed right now because obviously he just spent some time in New York, and one place he did not venture was over to the greatest city in America, Boston. Obviously, we need him more than anything. If people do not know, I am a Red Sox fan, and it has been a disappointment the entire season, the last couple seasons. We need an arm, we need a pitcher, and we want Yamamoto. We want him now. It's not looking good for Beantown. I don't really want to see him in pinstripes. I don't. I know you guys do. Best of luck with that. If he's going to go anywhere, just stay out of the AL East.
No, that's also a good thing. But I don't think that the Red Sox are out of it. I don't think anyone's out of it. I mean, you could say what you want. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of speculation. And my rule is if Bob Nightingale says it, then it's not true. So yeah, I wait for our guy, Uncle Jeff, to say something. And I'll wait for Jeff Passan to say something about it, and usually it's true. But it was confirmed that he did ask for a second meeting with the Yankees after his meeting with the Mets before he flew back to wherever he was going. I feel like the Dodgers have to be considered 1A if the Yankees are 1. I feel like the Mets are hovering right there, but I think the Red Sox might sneak in there, at least with a competitive offer, because Ray, you hit it right on the head. The Red Sox really need some starting pitching. He would be their number one guy, obviously, because we know we can't count on Glass Joe there, Chris Sale, to make it through a month of the season without breaking something. So I really feel like it's probably a 4 or 5 team race at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think listen, I'm going to be honest with you. This is my thought process. I think the Yankees are probably the front runner in this, which I'm okay with. I expressed to Scott about my thoughts with Yamamoto and his arm, and he's never pitched in the major leagues before. We're going to see the biggest contract for a Japanese pitcher in Major League history when this guy signs. I'm going to be honest with you, man. I don't know. We don't know much about this guy as far as his personality goes, and like what type of person he is. He seems like, as far as we can tell, he seems like a great guy and like, all that stuff. But based on the hype, like this guy has had, in my opinion, more hype than Ohtani in the MLB offseason, with the free agency and stuff like that. Because everybody kind of expected Ohtani to go to the Dodgers, and it happened, and it was kept secret, and it's annoying. But I'm going to be honest with you. The way I'm seeing it now, I truly think that he's going to take the most money. That's just the vibe I'm getting. And I think the team that's going to throw the most money at him is the Mets. And I think he's going to enjoy going to the Mets in that starting rotation because he also has Senga over there. And it's been well known that he wants to go to a team with another Japanese player, which at the same time doesn't get the Red Sox out of the running.
We got a guy. We got a guy.
You got a guy.
He's got to listen. The guy has to have a conversation with somebody. Okay.
We
got a guy.
That's true.
Yeah.
And the Yankees pulled out all the stops, bringing in Matsui, to like show him the ropes and do all that stuff. So this guy is being wined and dined wherever he goes.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. I like him going to the Mets for whatever reason. I just don't know. I mean, maybe I just don't know if I see the Yankees spending Garrett Cole money on this guy. You know what I mean? And I know they're doing big things, but they haven't spent a dime in free agency this year. They've traded it for everyone. So then again, I don't know.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Do you think that winning is important to Yamamoto? I mean, obviously money rules everything, right? Most guys are going to go where the money is. Mm-hmm. But if you can get similar money, but have a better, more well-constructed team, right? Because let's face it, the Mets right now, they're still a mess because outside Senga, the Mets have nothing in their rotation. Yes, they have some good positional players, but the Mets right now are almost a little bit kind of on the downside.
I mean, it's got to be. I assume it's all about the money.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong.
I would hate to think that, but and Scott, you bring up a good point. So you figure like the let's say 4 big teams are in on them. I think the Giants are an outlier, but I think the Giants still have some interest. You figure it's the Yankees, Dodgers, Red Sox, Mets. Now, the Mets and Red Sox are still, no matter who they sign, whether it's Yamamoto or Snell or whoever they sign as a pitcher, they're still, in my opinion, light years away from being that team that's gonna get to the ALCS or whatever. The Dodgers and the Yankees still have some work to do, but they're in a position to go right now with the addition of Soto and Verdugo, as far as the Yankee goes, and the Dodgers obviously are stacked. I mean, they're the best team on paper, hands down. It's not even close. So yeah, no, I think in Rupa says that bingo on winning. I think he does want to win. He's got a historic stat line right now in Japan. He's won awards. He's been the best pitcher in Japan for however long he's been in there for. So I think he definitely wants to win. I think it's going to be a big adjustment, though. I'm not going to expect him to come out and throw no hitters and be lights out right away. It's a completely different ball game over here in the States. So, but at the same time, like I said, he's being wined and dined. He's met with the Yankees and Mets twice now. He's probably, I would imagine LA is very attractive to him too. So, I don't know. I mean, do you guys, in your mind, do you have a team that he's going to go with, just like off the top of your head, who you think he's going to go with?
I still like the Yankees or the Dodgers because, and here's why I say yes, we know that Steve Cohen has a lot of money, and Met fans will tell you he has more money than Hal does, and whatever. We're not measuring dicks here, right? It's where is the best fit for him now. I want to go back to something that you said, Nader. You said something about the Yankees putting forth all this money for this kid. Yes, I agree with that, but at the same time, you're going to get that back tenfold because you're going to get the Asian market is going to come in, right? Because look at what happened when Ichiro went to Seattle.
Yeah,
the Asian market in Seattle. I mean, everywhere he went, there was. I mean, the media credentials for the Japanese media were just ridiculous. because you're going to bring in a whole new set of fans. Like when Matsui came to the Yankees,
Mm-hmm.
a whole new set of fans. There's every home game. There's going to be 100 Japanese media people there. The merchandise, the marketing. So you're going to get that money back tenfold. That was why Otani was that didn't even. I didn't even blink at what Otani made, even though it's a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah.
The Dodgers are going to make all that back probably in 2 years. That's an investment.
Oh, it's a business move, right? Otani was purely, I mean, don't get me wrong, the guy can play baseball, he's pretty good at it, but that was a huge baseball move or business move. I'm sorry. That's
Absolutely.
you're not wrong. I think wherever he goes, he's going to bring a lot of business, and why no other place than New York, right? Whether it's with the Mets or the Yankees. I mean, look at the population. It's a huge Asian population there. You got people from all walks of life that are going to want to see something new and exciting. And I had posted a video of one of his bullpen sessions on our social media, and he wasn't hitting his spots well. It looked like he was more or less warming up. But dude, this dude's curveball and his sinker or his splitter, unreal. It's like movement I've never seen before.
Well, I think we can all agree that wherever this guy goes, he's going to be a megastar, no matter where he's at.
Sure.
Yeah. But he'd have to share the spotlight with Otani in LA. So there's that to think about too. So wherever he goes, he's going to be a megastar. What I heard today, probably after Christmas, around New Year's, we'll hear, because people can start bidding on him now. So we'll hear. Yep. So that drama is going to last at least another week. Let's talk about some other free agents though. Let's get. Yeah. We talked about this a little pre-show. I want to hear what you guys. So if you had a shopping list right now with the free agents that are available, throw Yamamoto out right now. Let's say neither of our teams get him. Ray, who is the top of your shopping list as far as free agents go right now?
I mean, the three that I would go after right now, one would be Blake Snell, two would be Jordan Montgomery, and then you threw Cody Bellinger in that text message.
Yeah.
This is an interesting and not to interrupt you, but Bellinger is one of the more interesting free agents that's out there, if you think about it, because it's really, everybody's just kind of like, well, we're going to get a 50-50 on this, like as far as performance goes.
Yeah. I mean, the guy hit over 300 last year. You go back to the Dodger days, and did he win the MVP? Was he the MVP?
Was he the MVP that year? I believe he was.
Cody Bellinger.
Yeah, I think he was.
I think he's won an MVP. Yeah,
he's like he's like the sneaky free agent, because the guy fell off for a few years injury. But yeah, I think Bellinger could make a huge impact on somebody's offense. We could use more offense if we're not going to have any pitching. So it's all right. We're either going to go out and get these arms. First and foremost, we need arms. I don't care about another bat. I don't even want another bat. But if I had to throw a bat out there, I would push my chips in on Cody Bellinger. But we have to get Blake Snell, and we have to get Jordan Montgomery. And if we don't, the season's it's a wash. Forget about it. It doesn't matter. It's last place again. And what am I going to be doing? I'm going to be rooting against the Yankees. Par for the course.
He did win the MVP in 2019, by the way.
He did, yeah. I mean, and he's like a silent assassin. He's going to be a silent assassin this year.
He's better than his dad was.
Yes.
Clay Bellinger, former Yankee. I liked him. He was a good role player. But yeah, this kid is good. But you made a good point, Ray. What are you getting? What are you going to get with him? Are you getting the end of his Dodger career, or are you getting last year with the Cubs?
Yeah.
So
you would think he's got that right now. He's got momentum, and he's gonna get some money.
Listen,
gonna get paid.
Do you give him some money, but that you make it heavily incentive laden contract? Like, you're going to give him the money for hey, if you hit over 300, we'll give you this amount of money. Like, well, I feel like whoever does is going to give him that.
Listen, you give him a deal, you pay him $2 million a year, you extend it over the next 75 years, and there you go.
You just defer everything.
That's right. The Mets are praying for that, because the Mets want someone to take over Bobby Bonilla Day.
Oh man.
So Bellinger, according to all reports, and like I said before, you can't really trust a lot of what the MLB has to offer, because when it comes to MLB free agency, it's a zoo, right? Like I mean, we were looking for America's Most Wanted when Ohtani supposedly got on that airplane, right? Like, where's he going? Oh my God, you have people waiting at airports. It was nuts. But according to what everybody's saying, Bellinger is looking at over 200 mil for his contract. Listen, and Ray said it. He's got the momentum. He had a phenomenal year last year, right? Like the Cubs took
under the radar too.
Yeah, Cubs took a chance on him, and listen, he performed on a Cubs team that was supposed to do a little bit more than they did. They weren't fantastic, but they weren't awful either. They were kind of like a sleeper team. But Cody Bellinger, he goes to a new team, goes to Wrigley, plays great, hit over 300. You know, he was in the MVP conversation for a little while. I think that there's going to be plenty of teams out there that are interested, but there is that slight chance, like, well, he fell off the face of the earth, and as far as baseball goes, for 2 or 3 years, and it's like, well, what do we do? I think you got to look at what Cody Bellinger did as far as when he fell off the face of the earth, and he came back and he was an MVP caliber player. So he can do it, right? He can play. I mean, there's a lot of teams that could use a guy like Cody Bellinger. Yankees could still use a guy like Cody Bellinger.
Absolutely.
Red Sox would love to have a guy like Cody Bellinger. Look at a team like the Orioles, right? Like the Orioles
absolutely.
would be a great team for him. You know, the Cardinals. Like, I think every team in the MLB could use a guy like him. And I don't think he's going to hurt you to the point where it's like, holy crap, we wasted all this money. He's still going to produce. He's a good one thing he's great at is base running. Like he's very underrated in the base running department. Harold Reynolds was talking about it and how good of a base runner he was. And when he gets on base, he moves. You know, he's relatively quick and he's just a very good base runner. So I think Bellinger's a huge name that people still haven't really, taken a bite out of yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Nutter, what about you? So if you're Hal and Cashman, you say, okay, we got our guy, we got Soto. Yamamoto's off the board. What's our next move?
I really like Josh Hader is a name that comes to mind. Jordan Hicks is a name that comes to mind. I don't know. Is Hicks a free agent?
Yeah,
I think he is.
He is.
I'm pretty sure. As far as any teams that are looking for relief help, I think now is the time to jump, right? Like, I think you try to go after Hicks. You try to go after, you try to go after Hader, who really had kind of an up and down tenure with the Padres. I know the Padres just signed Matsui, that left-handed relief pitcher from Japan. They signed him today for, I think, 4 years, $22 million, something like that. But on the lower scale, I really like. There's a guy that's a free agent right now, Josh Turner, right? Like he's not like the upper echelon anymore.
Mm-mm.
However, the dude is quality. He's consistent. Very rarely goes into slumps. He can still play third base at a high level. I think Justin Turner's a huge name that's out there, and he's not going to cost a lot.
Clubhouse guy too.
Huge clubhouse guy.
He was
great for Boston, right? Yeah. Like he was a great fit. I mean, last year
he wants to stay.
I would resign.
He wants to stay. If he signs,
he fits in that city. He fits on that team so much.
I'll take him back in a minute.
He's a good fit for that team.
When he signed with the Red Sox, after he was done in LA, I was like, dude, that is the perfect Boston guy. He's the perfect Boston guy. He really is. He's like you said, he's a clubhouse guy. He's very consistent. Dude, he hit 276 last year, 23 homers, 96 ribbies, and an 800 OPS. And the guy's past his prime. So. Yeah. I mean,
I like it. That's a great move. So I'm going to go in a different direction. I'm going to echo what you say about Hader. That would be my number one guy. I know we need pitching. I would love to see Monty, but I want to go number one. I want to go with Josh Hader. 56.1 innings pitched last year, a 1.2 ERA. I don't care about records. You can throw that out. He was 2-3, but that doesn't make a shit to me. 85 strikeouts and a 1.10 WHIP. I like those numbers on a bad team. Last year, the Yankees, that was one of the pieces that we were really missing because we were very up and down with closers. I didn't trust any of the guys we were throwing out there to close, but I would 9 of 10 times I would trust Hader to go out there and get the job done.
Yeah,
I like him. Shane Bieber's another name that's out there right now that no one's talking about. I don't think he would cost a ton of money.
Yeah. He was trade bait for the Indians too. He was on the trading block there at the trade deadline also.
And he's weird though.
He is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's weird with that guy. I'm not so sure what happened.
Like a
He's
Zach
either
Greinke
on-
type of guy. Yeah.
He's either on or he is way off.
Yeah.
Well, how about this? I'm going to throw this name out at you. Won't cost us. This will go back to what I was saying about an heavy incentive-laden contract. Won't cost you hardly any money unless he blows the doors off everyone. And you sign him, you immediately become the most hated team in Major League Baseball.
No,
Bring me the Bauer outage to New York, baby. Let's go. Bring me Trevor Bauer to the Bronx.
Oh my! You think
Let's bring
leave?
him in. What's the worst that can happen? He sucks. You cut him.
He gets arrested. Not a
big he beats up another girl while he's pleasuring himself.
Listen,
it makes sense.
The fact that nobody is talking about Trevor Bauer at this point, and I know the whole thing happened and that's done now, right? But he's reinstated.
He's reinstated.
Still got the stigma though, and that's a problem when it comes to especially Major League Baseball. You don't see a lot of that happen in Major League Baseball where a guy comes back from something like that and he's just like,
let's bring the swagger back though.
Dude, he got shafted in that whole thing.
All three of us were huge on the Bauer outage.
Yes,
he lit up dude. I mean, he was making $48 million with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
$48 million. I could see a team like Boston taking a flyer on him, paying him low. Prove yourself.
Is it a flyer though? Let's be honest.
That's the thing. I think it's a flyer in the sense of you got to get your fans on board, right? Like it's like one of those things. It's like when the Yankees brought in Josh Donaldson, which I was excited about at first, but it was the dumbest thing the Yankees ever did.
Yeah.
But that was a flyer as far as like, well, we don't know what we're gonna get with him as far as his attitude and things like that. But I think if Bauer was given another chance, I think that he would kill it. He would kill it.
Yeah.
And he would go out of his way to talk shit on Manfred, and I would love it. I mean, every place we went, he would get booed unmercifully, and it would be awesome.
And you know what?
I miss that, man.
He feeds off of that, though.
I know it. It makes me angry that the Astros are the most hated team in baseball right now. Bring it back to the Bronx, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
Make the Yankees hated again. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh man,
they're on their way.
Everyone did, not just Boston, not just Baltimore. I want everybody to hate us.
I mean, you're pretty much already there. I mean,
yeah, but everyone hates the Astros. We can all. That's our common thread in the Major League Baseball.
Not true.
Everybody hates the Astros.
I think Ray likes it.
I love the Astros. Trash can banger, baby.
Yeah. And
all right.
In all seriousness, though, real quick, and then we'll move on. There's three. So I think there's a pitcher out there that is clearly on the trade market that I think any team could benefit from, especially Boston. Dylan Cease is like the talks of a lot of trade rumors. I know the Yankees are in, like, kind of, there were rumors that they were in on him. His numbers weren't great last year, but he was on a horrific White Sox team, like real bad.
Corbin Burns, I like that one.
Corbin Burns is another guy that's out there, and Bieber. Those are like the three like trade targets a lot of teams are looking at right now. But yeah, Ray, I think
the only one downfall I feel like with Corbin Burns is that he's a 7-day guy. He's a 1 start a week guy. You're not going to get 2, 4 starts a month, maybe 5 is pushing it. You want to get more out of your ace than 1 start,
especially in the playoffs, Ray. Especially in the playoffs. Yeah.
That's
that guy to pitch twice in a 7-game series, right?
Yeah, that's my only gripe with Corbin.
No, that's fair.
He's definitely fair. a strikeout guy without a doubt.
Yep.
Yeah, 200 Ks last year in 193 innings, and I think he had some arm troubles too. I can't remember if it was a shoulder or elbow, but he was laid up for a little bit last year.
Yeah.
So that's only a matter of time before he ends up shelved. But yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much it for baseball right now. There's not really a whole lot else going on. We're kind of in a dead zone right now. And I think you're right, Scott. I don't think we're going to see anything until after Christmas as far as the names going off the board.
Yes.
So I was looking up a stat while you guys were talking about Yamamoto, and the average Japanese salary over in the Japan is 44.68 million Japanese yen.
What is that in US dollars?
That's a great damn question.
Because I couldn't even tell you.
Honestly, I was looking and I'm like 44.68. It's got to be similar. It's got to be similar to here.
If somebody that's watching or in the chat with the viewers knows how to transfer or calculate yen into US dollars, feel free to put the number in there. That'd be
$313,580.
That's all it is.
Yep, not a lot of money.
Yamamoto's
that
going to
ain't
make out
shit.
great.
Oh, give the
Yamamoto's
guy,
going to make out great.
yeah, give him $20 million a year.
Yeah,
Look at this.
Yeah,
I'd
that's
probably take
great.
anything more than that. I think he'd be happy with.
Oh yeah, he's gonna get paid.
Speaking of getting paid, let's talk about the phenomenon that is sweeping across the tri-state area right now, and I'm talking about Mr. Tommy Cutlets, the quarterback in the New York Football Giants. Now, he had a little downturn last week, but if you watch the game, he was the best player on offense for the New York Giants. He got sacked, 7 times on Saturday?
I think he's been sacked a total of like
35 times. 35 in 5 games, 35 times. He's 5th in the league right now in sacks. He's only played 5 games.
Oh my God.
How many times did Danny Dimes get sacked? That's what I want to know.
There's two things with that.
A lot.
There's 2 things with that sack stat. Either A, your line stinks,
That's the
Or
I'm going with that.
or B, you have a really hard time making a quick decision.
He's actually does pretty good. Like the problem is you are partly correct on that. Part of it is the line. A lot of it is the line, 70%. But you also we have trash receivers who don't know how to run routes and don't know how to get open. They run the routes, right? But they don't know how to make themselves open. I think you can't get rid of Hodgins because he was a draft pick and he's got speed. He's developing. But everybody that's not named Wan'Dale Robinson hit the bricks at the end of the season because they're stink. Even Slayton,
What about
Hodgins,
you have Jalen Hyatt too, though.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
Jalen Hyatt. Okay,
I meant
Hyatt.
not Hodgins.
Yeah,
Jalen Hyatt.
Jalen Hyatt. Hodgins.
Hodgins, we picked him off the scrap.
Hodgins can take a hike. Yeah.
Hodgins,
He can go
I blew up last year as the next what I call him, Deion Brancher.
Was Hodgins or Hyatt the former Bills practice squad guy?
It was Hodgins.
Okay.
Hodgins, yeah.
He
came from Tennessee.
Because Hodgins last year, he didn't drop any passes.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. Hyatt's a stud though. He's if he had a good quarterback that could throw to him, he'd be squared away.
Well, anybody who had time to throw a deep ball. I feel like Tommy makes good reads. He gets the ball out quick. He's way quicker. He has better feet than Daniel Jones. He makes better decisions, quicker decisions than Daniel Jones. Yeah. He gets the ball out quicker than Daniel Jones. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you guys know that I love Danny Dimes. I've been on the Danny Dimes bandwagon, but dude, it's time. He's not good.
What are we going to do? What are the Giants going to do with that contract?
Listen, there's nothing you can do. You got to keep him. You got to keep him around.
Right
you
now,
draft a quarterback. At the end of the year next year, he can go.
Yeah,
we're only on the hook for one more year with him, and then we can cut him. He's only 2 years guaranteed of that 4-year deal. But when you draft a quarterback this year, and you sit him behind Daniel Jones, and then you cut Jones at the end of 2024, and you bring up the kid. That's the only way to go. Because you're going to have a top 5 pick.
What about the best quarterback on your team that's not being mentioned right now?
It's
Saquon Barkley.
Tyrod Taylor, man.
He should be playing right.
Tyrod Taylor is the best quarterback that you have on your football team right now.
He should be
He's
playing.
Healthy, you start him. I get the whole, I'm probably going to get whacked for saying this, but the best quarterback on the New York Giants, whether it's Daniel Jones is healthy or not, is Tyrod Taylor. And they are not playing Tyrod Taylor. So get him. If you want to win football games, put Tyrod Taylor on the field and call it a day. I mean, that guy got screwed over so hard by that doctor when he shoved that thing through the guy's lung. Yeah, and the next thing you know, here comes Justin Herbert, and the rest is history. It is what it is. Maybe, I don't know, is there a conspiracy to that?
There could be.
But Tyrod Taylor's in New York. Get the guy on the center.
The thing with Devito is he was playing pretty good football. He was playing against some bad defenses. He played against a pretty good defense. Top 50, top half of the league defense last week. Combine that with our receivers are ass. Our offensive line is
trash,
even more ass than that. He had a tough day. I don't know. I feel like you are right. I feel like it's time. It's a feel-good story. The kid from Jersey coming home, doing good. But if you want to serious about winning football games,
sell some jerseys.
Yeah, that's what they did. And the kid's going to get paid. Yeah. He's going to have they're going to announce a deal with him with Jersey Mike's subs. He did the right thing. He saw what was the things that were going around what the with his agent there, Paulie Walnuts. He got rid of that guy.
Be careful, Scott. You'll be on the hit list.
I was just gonna say you're gonna be in some waste management plant somewhere in Jersey before you.
Well,
know.
you saw, right when you go fishing with Tony Soprano.
You'll be in a sidewalk.
You saw that he raised his rate for his personal appearances, and it wasn't him; it was his agent.
And his agent's a clown, dude.
His agent's a super clown.
Yeah. Honestly, I thought it was the mascot for Notre Dame. You know what I mean?
It's
like
Italian American Sports Hall of Fame jacket.
Oh
dude,
shit!
Dude, this guy,
I'm done for.
This guy started a sports agency company, right? He played Division I football. I'm trying to maybe is it Marist? He might have gone to Marist. I think they were D1 at the time. And then then he starts this sports agency company, and he catches fire with Devito, right? He's got like I think 3 or 4 other NFL players. One guy from the Panthers, I think one guy from the Broncos. And now all of a sudden he's in the Italian Sports Hall of Fame. Like overnight, this guy.
Wow.
Just because he wore a black suit and a fedora and he's doing the thing and he's kissing Tommy DeVito's dad on the cheek, right, in the stands. And now he shows up in like a Masters jacket, like he won the Masters, you know?
It's crazy.
And then this nice little family-run pizzeria in Jersey wants Tommy DeVito. They're offering him $10,000 to come down and like show up at the pizza place while everybody's there. It's like it's a dream, right? Like Jersey, he's from Jersey, you know, the whole 9 yards. And then Stiletto's like, nah, we want $20,000. And the guy's like, dude, we're like a family-run pizza place. We can't afford $20,000. We're lucky if we can afford $10,000.
It's like ask him to come to Uncle Cranky's.
Yeah. right. Yeah,
hey, everybody was screaming at DeVito, and I said it to you, and I think I said it in the text group. That kid seems like a smart kid. He'll do the right thing. And he did. He went there anyway. And I don't even think he charged him. I think he went on his own accord. And he didn't get rid of Stiletto. He made his Stiletto his on-field agent. And he hired an actual agent for his marketing. And the kid's going to make himself some money. He'll sign up probably with the Giants next year as a backup quarterback. And that's where he belongs. He's not a starting quarterback in the NFL. It's fun. It's made a horrible shit season kind of fun to watch a little bit.
Yeah,
it's been fun for a few weeks. I do love
like Bailey Zappi. Zappy's the same way. He's not going to be a starter. Your guys are going to draft a quarterback, but it's fun to watch him. He makes the games kind of fun.
Ray doesn't even want to talk about the Patriots right now.
We will. I won't.
I will definitely talk about the Patriots all day long because I have a lot to say about that, but we don't have enough time. So
that's a 2-hour show on its own. Just Ray talking about the Patriots.
It's more like Bill and
tough.
Draft and everything else. I mean, it's
My buddy Rich.
You know what the biggest problem is? I'm just going to say this, and I'm not going to bore everybody with Patriot talk. But the one thing that's happening this year, and nobody's talking. Well, I guess they're talking about a little bit, is that we are doing awesome on defense. We're not allowing teams to really score a lot of points. I mean, yes, the Chiefs scored 27 or whatever it was, but we've been able to limit. Like we're not getting blown out. Right. We've gotten blown out, completely destroyed 2 or 3 games, right? 2 or 3 games completely destroyed. But for the most part, we've been in every game with no quarterback play, with no run. I mean, the running backs are good. It's a head scratcher, but Bill's done an unbelievable job this year. Bill's done a fantastic job. You can't say anything bad about Bill. Yes, we're 3 and whatever, but who? Right. It's
listen, and not for nothing. Bill's made. I don't want to say it's a tough decision, right? But like Mac Jones, right? He was supposed to be the next, right? Like he was, you got the young quarterback from Alabama. Kid's a stud. He won a championship. He's going under Belichick's wings. He's going to be the next best thing.
Monster
and it didn't work out. It just didn't work out. And that's okay because you know what Bill did? Bill made the tough decision and has pulled. I mean, how many times has he pulled Mac Jones from, that 3rd down, right? And thrown Zappy.
Who's that good for?
Right.
Who is that good for?
Well, what I'm saying is Bill has just basically accepted the fact, like, well, I can't put Jones in this situation.
Bill destroyed that guy. Bill destroyed him. He absolutely destroyed him.
Yeah, I agree. Where does Jones end up? That's
not with him. He's going to end up in like New Orleans or something.
He could go right to New York.
Tampa Bay.
Go to the Jets. He could go to the Jets.
The Jets.
Go right to New York.
Go to the Jets.
Go ahead.
That's a
I
whole
think
nother.
he would be
That's a whole
fine.
nother 2-hour show about the Jets.
I think you would be fine in New York.
Have you guys watched any of the? Have you watched any of the in-season Hard Knocks at all, guys?
with the Dolphins.
Oh, dude, it's amazing. For nothing
everybody,
else, Mike McDaniel is. I
he's
wish
a,
that guy was our coach. I love that guy.
he's a character, man. That dude is
classic, dude.
He is.
He
something
called
else.
that play. By the way,
Yes,
that touchdown to Waddle the other day that they threw the bomb.
64-yarder.
He called it. He called it on the sideline, and then as he was running for the touchdown, McDaniel was running down the sidelines laughing. I told you. I told you. He said one play. If they show us that coverage, we're running this play, and Waddle's going to score on it. And sure as shit, it happened. And I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
The guy's he's an amazing offensive mind, probably the best in the game
Against shitty teams.
Yes. Well,
I mean, we got to
let them down.
I gave that guy a lot of credit at the beginning of the year, and I'm owning it. He's great against shitty teams, but as far as competing against teams that are elite or above 500, Miami Dolphins have struggled, and until they do that, they're going to be the AFC Dallas Cowboys. And
we're going to see this week because that's who they play this week. Do they not? We'll see how good they are this week.
Perfect layup into the Cowboys.
I was going to say, thanks, Ray. Good segue.
Thank you, Ray. It's almost
let's
like
talk about
Hey guys,
we've done this before. It's weird.
Let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. And I know we got my man Rich in the house. Rich from Jersey. One of the biggest Cowboy fans I know. And he would admit it too. And, he gets a little fired up when you bust balls about it.
That dude is.
That dude shits on the Cowboys more than I do, and he's the biggest Cowboy fan I know. But he would say right now the Cowboys look like they're a little bit of trouble. They've only beaten one team over 500. They got smoked by the Bills the other day. So what are we thinking, guys? Who are the Dallas Cowboys? Are they the team that we see when they're playing in Dallas at home? Or are they the team that we saw in Buffalo this week?
You want to go first?
Absolutely, go for it.
No, I want Ray to go. If for those real quick, for those who don't know, if you've never seen Ray and all of us together, or if you haven't seen The Hook or Ray's show, Ray is he's a football guy. The dude knows more about football than anybody I know. Next to Kev Mike's pretty good, but Ray is very, very knowledgeable in football field. So what he has to say is pretty good, unless you're taking his picks when it comes Sunday.
Don't ever do that.
The lines and
Don't
the spread.
ever do that.
You want to stay away from that because he goes against the grain on a lot of things. But Ray's a very, very smart football guy. So I'm interested to see what Ray has to say about the Dallas Cowboys and the actual team that they are.
I think that I honestly thank you, Nodder, that you exaggerated it extremely. So I appreciate it.
I was very honest about your picks, though. Your picks are just not good.
I trash, and I will
brutal.
own everything I say
Brutal.
always and forever. No shame over here. But as far as like the Cowboys are concerned, and same with the Philadelphia Eagles, I think it's very unfortunate for both of those teams to have to play Buffalo. Because Buffalo is in a dire, like must win, have to win. And you catch these two teams that are riding the high. And hey, you know what? They might have came to that game and taken the Bills lightly. And unfortunately for them, Buffalo is on a must win, have to win track. And it's just one of those things. Bang, bang. Here's Buffalo, So I actually like Buffalo to make a lot of noise moving into the AFC. Move over Baltimore. Here comes the Bills. And I was like, 6 weeks ago, I was like, Baltimore Niners. That's my Super Bowl. Ooh, I'm scared of Josh Allen, to be honest with you. He's a phenomenal, and everyone's shitting on him for all these picks and everything else. Josh Allen is a talent that is not in the NFL. He's an unbelievable talent. Back to Dallas. Dallas is loaded on offense. They're suspect against the run. Their defense is you just don't know who you're gonna get when Dallas is on the field. You know what I mean? Dak Prescott looks great, and then he can't do anything. I don't understand this Dak train. My boss is a huge Cowboys fan. As soon as Dak was flying high, I was like, ooh, Dak MVP. Now, do I really believe Dak's the MVP? Absolutely not. No freaking way, no how. But he's playing up here against those teams that he's supposed to do it against. And then what happens against the Bills?
If you played the Giants every week, you'd be the MVP.
Well, here's the other thing too with the Bills, and we're talking Cowboys Bills here. It's tough to bet against the Bills at home. They're dominant at home. This year, they've always been dominant at home. I mean, you can't
Absolutely.
go up against that fan base at home. It's tough, and
Guys, I see a
Mafia.
lot of the 2007 Giants in the this year's Buffalo Bills. A team on the ropes. They've already got a standing 8 count. They're on the ropes. They got to win out. They got to play hard. They're probably going to have to win on the road in the playoffs. They're not going to host any games. There's a lot of similarities to that team with this year's Bills, and you absolutely nailed it, right? Ray, you had said they're a tough team to play against because they're in flight mode. So teams like that are dangerous, and they're playing good football right now. Even though they lost that game to Philly.
Yeah.
They gave the Eagles all they could handle in Philly, and that's tough to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
And
think
you know what? The other thing too about the Bills is that they are banged up. They are hurt. You have your star linebacker Matt Milano out for the season. Your star DB and Tre'Davious White done for the season. Buffalo is in rough shape. They really are, but they are balling right now.
Yep.
Watch out.
And then the other thing too is a lot of people forget that there's a little bit of there was some disgruntled attitudes as far as like Diggs goes too, right? Like Diggs in the beginning of the season was like, I don't know if I want to play, he didn't come out and say it, but he was frustrated with the Bills and he was frustrated with the amount of catches he was getting and the targets he was getting and things like that too. So you're right. They're fighting as much as they can, even though they might be fighting against each other a little bit. They're on fire right now. I would not mess with the Bills at all. Honestly, I think they're on a roll, and we talk about Dallas. And listen, Dallas doesn't have an easy. We were talking about, I think last week, Scott. I don't think Dallas. I don't know the schedule off the top of my head, but they have a tough upcoming schedule to end the season.
They have Miami to go still. I think they play Washington one more time, if I'm not mistaken.
I just had up their schedule too.
Yeah, if I remember,
they had a brutal end of the season.
There's at least 2 or 3 teams that the Cowboys are going to be questionable against.
Miami might give them a little bit.
Miami's got definitely a questionable game.
That might be a shootout, guys.
Rich says Miami's going to be tough and it's going to be another loss.
Oh, it's on the road, right?
I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced with the Dolphins.
I think it's a flip of a coin.
Yeah, me too.
Miami, Detroit, and then at Washington. You have Detroit at home.
That's a tough game. Well, that'll be a test to see if they can keep their home. What do they have? 17 straight at home. The Cowboys do. They put in the water.
Yeah. Yep.
What are they putting in the visiting team's water?
Yeah,
Dallas. So
that's true.
Speaking of a team that's struggling
from Flint, Michigan.
Yeah,
that's true.
Team that's struggling. The Philadelphia Eagles, guys. There's lots of turmoil, right? Because everyone was ready to, right? In the words of the late great Dennis, the Cardinals coach, Dennis Green.
Dennis Green.
You want to crown their ass? Crown their ass. We are who they thought they were, right? Remember, Denny Green said that
I love
against the Bears.
That clip.
One of the greatest press conferences of all time. But everybody was ready to crown them when they were 10-0 and they're rolling. The Eagles are back, same as last year. But then they had a little bump in the road. They got blown out by Dallas. They got blown out by the 49ers. They got handled by the Seahawks. So what is going on? Like, you have Jalen Hurts, who was sick apparently, but now he's throwing his team under the bus at the post-game presser. I mean, what do you make of that? Is the press making too much of that? The media making too much of what he said? Was he trying to light a fire, or was he just frustrated with his team's performance?
The guy's sick. He was sick. Yeah. He was under the weather. Probably super tired, not really feeling to deal with anybody's crap, and whatever came out of his mouth at that moment. As far as the Eagles being like not a good football team, I completely I can see the Eagles playing for the NFC Championship. I think they're a legit football team. They're just having some issues on defense. They are allowing way too many yards in the air.
Ton of yards.
Way too many yards in the air. And now they're giving up yards on the ground as well.
Yes.
So they got to figure out their defense. I think their offense is fine. I mean, a healthy Jalen Hurts is tough to stop, and we saw that in the Bills game. But even playing with whatever flu he had on Monday night, he still played pretty good. I mean, he was running the ball. I forget how many yards he rushed for. I think he rushed for over 50 yards. Scored 3. Accounted for 2 total touchdowns. Tough loss, but I'm not going to judge that Seahawks game off of the Philadelphia Eagles. The Cowboys game, divisional game. They didn't get up for that one.
They did not.
But the Niners, bang, bang. That's the Super Bowl champ right there.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. The 49ers look really good. And I was talking about that at work today with one of my buddies. Really, I mean, you throw the Niners out for a second. If someone beats them, the rest of it is wide open.
Mm-hmm.
It's wide open. And that's what I want to bring it to this point, because I have a sleeper team. And do I think they're going to win the Super Bowl? No, probably not. But I threw a little action down today because I went on and I feel pretty good about this team. The Browns. I really feel good about the Cleveland Browns.
Yes, I was just saying that.
Yes, dude.
Did you see me saying it?
They're plus 6,000 right now. You throw $50. Give me $3,000 on $50, baby. Let's go.
I love that.
I love it. $50. It's worth it if I win. If I miss it,
It's funny, Scott, because I had no idea where you were going with that. When you mentioned it in the beginning of the show, I'm like, who did Scott throw money down on?
I like the Browns, man. Little Flacco magic going on. I like to see a rebirth of Joey Flacco. He's throwing the ball good. He's managing the game, as Cam Newton would say. He's a game manager.
Dumbass.
That dude
he is a clown. But listen, they got something good. They got a good defense there. They're running the football. It could be tough in the AFC. Feels wide open to me. There isn't one because the Chiefs are on a down with their injuries. Buffalo is tough. Baltimore, it depends on what day of the week you get them. They're a good football team, but I feel like they have some weaknesses. I would not be shocked to see the Browns make a little run.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing. I mean, listen, bring back Flacco. They got a little bit of life in them, right? Like Deshaun Watson. They're
spicy.
Spicy. That whole thing just their quarterback situation was a mess. I mean, Deshaun Watson, I think he's just that was a waste. That contract is ridiculous. But you bring back a guy like Flacco who's got some experience. He's been in the NFL a while. He comes off
leadership.
I throw for 300 yards 2 games in a row. 2 weeks in a row, 3+. Come on.
Listen, the Jets could have used a guy like Joe Flacco, but
they had him. They let him go.
Yeah, that's weird, right? Just like they
last year, he was on the Jets.
Just like they let our friend Timmy go. You know what I mean? It's just, and then they put Seaman in there, whatever the hell his name is. He stinks.
He's starting this week. Trevor Simeon's starting this week.
Is it Simeon?
Yeah, Simeon. But whatever you said.
Simeon, whatever the hell his name is.
Sperm donor.
Yeah. That's about it.
I like
they're playing the Redskins, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Mike White for the Jets last year. He played some good football. Like when being in Miami, I'm surprised he hasn't gotten on the field yet. But Tua has remained healthy, so I'm surprised.
So real quick, I want to get your guys' opinion on this, and then we'll kind of look towards the weekend as far as the NFL goes. Obviously, the guy, right? Everybody's been talking about all year. He's only played a couple of snaps. Aaron Rodgers is now all of a sudden able to practice. And let me tell you something. We got sent an article today. Did you guys read the article that Brian sent us?
I did.
Oh, dude, whoever wrote that article, I didn't even see the name, absolutely lit up Aaron Rodgers. How it's all a publicity stunt and how he doesn't care about playing. It's all about it. It's the Aaron Rodgers show. That's all he cares about is him and whatever, conspiracy theories. That article kind of, I was like reading it, and Brian Mack is a huge Aaron Rodgers guy. And he even said it. He's like, this article makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? There's some people that are even saying that he didn't actually pop his Achilles tendon. I mean, you watch the video, he did. It's clear as day. But how remarkable is it that this guy, and he's doing like the different types of medicine and all sorts of kind of, in my opinion, maybe not to him, but some very odd healing techniques, and he's a little out in left field there with the Hobbit hole and everything like that. But how crazy is it that this guy is where he's at already? I mean, we all know with athletes, Achilles tears, that's not something you just walk around in a boot in. Like you're laid up, and this dude is already out there. I mean, he was out there throwing weeks and weeks and weeks ago.
I feel like medicine has improved over the last, 10 years. So Achilles tears aren't like the be all end all like they used to be. When Marino got his Achilles tear, that kind of ruined the end of his career.
Yeah.
When they got replaced by Scott Mitchell, but then medicine has improved so much. So I feel like Rodgers, he's a little, like you said, he's a very eccentric. He has all these different holistic things. I don't think he ever was going to play. I think he was doing it because he wanted the attention.
Mm.
I'm a big Aaron Rodgers guy. I love him. I love the guy, but it's starting to get a little much. Even though I love him, I hate the Jets. It's been a little much.
Loves the drama.
He loves a little bit of the drama. And he said he's still giving the Jets 2 years. He said he owes them 2 years.
Yeah. He's definitely not coming back this year.
He's not.
He's definitely not coming back.
And here's Rob Saleh could have put a kibosh on this weeks ago and just told everybody he's not playing. And instead of just saying, "Oh, he wants to play, we're going to see," and he still won't come out and say it. But just say the guy's not playing.
Yeah, and then the Jets, he's like, well, the Jets doctors, the New York Jets doctors need to confirm on whether, dude,
you're the head coach.
He's not playing. Like, what do you like? Listen, you guys sold the farm, traded for who he wanted. I watched some of the Hard Knocks on HBO, and he was essentially running that offense.
Absolutely.
On the sidelines. That dude's calling the plays. He knows what's going on. A very, very smart dude. Mm-hmm. But let me ask you this question, then we'll move on. You say you put a healthy Aaron Rodgers out on that field tomorrow. Do the Jets win the rest of their games?
They win. Well, they're going to win this week because they're playing the Commanders, and the Commanders are.
Are they going to win though? Are they going to win?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. No,
they got it. The Commanders can score.
It's true.
Yeah, they can.
Commanders can score.
Yeah, but they throw a lot of. They turn the ball over a lot.
They do.
They do.
Sam Howell, second-year player. He'll be all right.
They also got rid of their two of the best defensive players in the game too at the trade deadline.
True story.
The Jets would go 2-1 to finish the season because after the Commanders they got the Browns, and they're not going to beat the Browns. Oh, they could beat the Browns with Aaron Rodgers.
So do the Jets do anything?
They could go 3-0.
They could. The Jets offensive line is not as bad as the Giants. It's not as bad as Washington, but their offensive line is pretty bad.
Yeah, no, it is. You know what the problem with the Jets was, and I should have told you guys before the season started. For anybody out there, before the season started, I put $50 on the Jets to win the Super Bowl. I did, and guess what happened in play number?
What was the payout on
that? 3, huh? I think they were plus 800 or something like that.
Okay,
it was. I just threw $50 on it. I had a little money in the account from something that I hit. That now I'm way back down in the hole again, obviously. But we're not going to talk about that.
I mean, listen, you asked.
My fault.
You asked Brandon Tierney on WFAN at the beginning of the season. Jets were going to win the Super Bowl. They were going to win the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Double down on that one.
Yeah. So,
what are you going to do?
Yeah, we have some pretty good games this week. Listen, I feel like there's a lot of playoff implication games, but more importantly, there's a lot of draft implication games going on, right? Because you have the Bears. The Bears playing the Cardinals, which the Cardinals have been playing better of late. K1 has been pretty good since he came back from his injury, but that's a big game for both because both of those teams right now, both of those have a top 5 pick.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a draft positioning game. You also have Green Bay and Carolina. Can Carolina pull off? Because Green Bay, after looking good against the Lions, they come back. They a clunker against the Giants. Then they get smoked at home by the Bucks.
Mm.
I mean, what's going on there? You have Indy and Atlanta. Another draft implication game. Washington Jets. Both of those teams have top 5 picks. I feel like Cleveland beats Houston this week. But let's talk about Monday's games because I feel like Monday is actually a pretty good slate of games. I mean, the Giants are going to get dragged. We know that because they're playing in Philly. That's going to happen. But I like the matchup between Vegas and KC. That's pretty intriguing because, yes, the Chiefs are home, but Vegas has been playing pretty good under Antonio Pierce. Do you guys think that Pierce has done enough to earn the permanent title as head coach of the Raiders?
Absolutely.
Yes, I agree.
I think not only does he bring a lot to that team as far as from a coaching standpoint, but he's from LA, what I mean? He bleeds it and he takes a lot of pride and, it seems like the players love him. Every game they win, they have like the cigars and they're celebrating they won a playoff game. I love that. I think that's good for teams, especially a team like the Raiders who have struggled and they haven't really been relevant. But I think he's 100% earned that for sure. No doubt.
Absolutely. I like him. I mean, former Giant. He won a Super Bowl with us.
Mhm.
I like him. I think he's good. I mean, I wish his first game ever wasn't against the Giants as head coach because they speedboat dragged us in that game.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good game. But there's two marquee matchups. You have this week. You have the Cowboys and the Dolphins at 4:30 on Sunday, and then the Monday night game, Christmas Day. I think that still could be a Super Bowl preview. You got San Francisco hosting Baltimore. I like that game. I'm surprised at the line right now. San Francisco is given 5.5 right now. So,
is that a lot?
Yeah, it's going to be a closer game.
Listen, they're dynamic. I mean, they do so many great things on offense. Shanahan's another guy like McDaniel who's just ridiculous with the offense.
If Debo,
Baltimore's tough. They play good, tough defense.
I just don't know. I don't think there's anybody, and I think I might have just cut you off, Ray.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm basically, I think, going to say what you're going to say. As long as the 49ers have everybody healthy and they're on the field, I don't think there's anybody that can beat the 49ers. CMC, Debo, we call them the cheat
That's
code.
it. If they're on the field, those are the two they need. If one of them goes down, it's a struggle bus. They need both of them on the field. Both of them. That's the key.
you
got to wonder at what point are they sitting these guys? You know what I mean? Like,
not soon.
They want home field.
Until
they clinch home field, everyone's playing.
I get that. And
I need a couple fantasy chips, and if CMC gets benched, it could cost me a significant amount of money.
And yeah, and not for nothing, man. Like Brock Purdy, and don't get me wrong, he's got the offensive weapons, right? He's got the guys, dude. If I remember correctly, I was looking at his stats. I think he's first in every category for quarterbacks right now. I'm pretty sure,
good, man.
Maybe not rushing, but he's like first in pretty much every category. Like
he's a legit MVP candidate as well.
He's second in passing yards. He's first in touchdowns.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think there was a lot of ones on there. I know that.
I don't have his QBR here in front of me, but
I wish
a lot of those yards are yak yards.
Yeah,
with CMC and Debo.
I think it's unfortunate for Purdy because Purdy still has to throw the ball to the area for the player to make a play.
I think he's great,
which he's been doing, and people are trying to shade him on that. You can't shade a guy that's getting the job done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It actually blows my mind that he is not. I mean, is he the MVP? People are talking about Lamar Jackson now. I just don't understand that. But Lamar is doing a lot with nothing.
He absolutely is.
He really extends the plays better than anybody. But if you were to compare these two teams, right, because this is the game of the weekend or Monday night, whatever, you compare the two teams, and it's kind of like a barf, in my opinion, because you go to the quarterback play, and it's like Purdy or Lamar. Obviously, you're leaning heavy on Lamar. But then you go to the rest of the Ravens team on offense anyway, and it's like, say Flowers, OBJ, who's having a great year.
Yeah,
right? He's a dinosaur at this point of his career. Isaiah Likely, if you ever even heard of him before, if you're a football guy, you know who he is. But what's up, Brian? B-Mac in the house.
B-Mac in the house. Let's go.
But other than that, it's kind of like there's really nothing like sexy about the Baltimore Ravens when you compare them to the 49ers.
Right.
On both sides of the ball, really. Roquan Smith, absolute stud for the Ravens defense, and Kyle Hamilton having a great year as well. I might have missed a defensive lineman in there, but the Niners are just that team.
They're a lunch pail type of get the job done
they're so
football
good.
team, and I like them. I like rooting for them. Listen, I've been very critical of Lamar, especially before this year, but he's proven me wrong, and I'm okay with that. I like to see them do something. I'm not a Harbaugh guy, either one of them, but I feel like he could carry this team because I feel the AFC is wide open. So,
yeah.
I can't wait to see where Baltimore is. I can't wait to see where Baltimore is after playing the 49ers, honestly.
Yep.
I agree.
That should be good. You'll get a good gauge on where both teams are at after this game, I feel like.
Yep.
And if Brian Mack is still on, we're going to talk about it Sunday on the Hook with Gamblers Anonymous, but I would love to see who Brian has in that game. for the 49ers.
Don't give it up now. Don't give it up now.
Bang, bang, not a gang, baby.
I guess
Bang,
we
bang, lock of the week.
we can wait for Gamblers Anonymous. If you guys haven't checked it out, Sundays at 10 o'clock, myself, Ray, and Brian Mack get on for about 20 minutes. We do all of our picks, the spreads. We've done very well this year. The past couple weeks have not been great. It's been pretty bad. But overall, make sure you guys go and check out the Hook, subscribe, and follow them as well. We have a lot of fun doing that.
Absolutely.
Notter's
Ray,
been leading the way.
I know.
Right.
Notter has been nuts.
He's been
just wait for baseball, dude. Because if you guys think that Gamblers Anonymous is going to stop,
oh no,
when football's over, no. Wait for baseball. Wait till you see the parlays I put together for baseball. Dude. Stand by.
Rhymes with whiners, baby.
Yes, all day long, all day.
I love how he spelled whiners. Is that like one of those bottles where you can't really read the label?
Oh, dude. Oh, my God.
The whiners, that kind of whiner.
I missed the Brian McDonald wine reviews. Those were the best.
Yes. Those were good. And the Amazon package.
Yeah, the
my wife's Amazon packages. Yeah, that was my favorite.
Nice.
And his new one. What has he got? The influencers
salad, dude.
are my favorites.
The running influencer.
The running influencers. Yeah,
that was a good one.
It's so funny. The dude's talented. The dude is talented, and he's a very loved member of our podcast community over here. We love that guy.
Yes. And we got to get him on. We got to get him on the Scottsdale and Notter. Listen, Ray, thanks for coming on, buddy. I'd love for you, if you got time next week, we'd love to have you back on because
of course.
Next week we got to make it about, if nothing happens in the baseball world, this is a big week coming up this weekend, Sunday, or when is the CFP? What day is that on?
Christmas, right?
Is it on,
New Year's Eve?
Can't be.
New Year's Eve
or New Year's Eve?
New Year's Eve.
So
next week,
oh.
let's do a CFP. We got to do a CFP preview show.
Mm-hmm.
So come back on, Ray, if you got the time next week.
Oh yeah,
let's come back on next Wednesday and let's do some CFP stuff because that's big. That's big.
Yeah.
We've Nader and I haven't delved into that yet because I got a lot to say about that.
Monday,
and I'd love to get your take on that because I know that you're a football guy and you're pretty good with these. So let's do that next week.
Sure.
We'll figure it out.
I can tell you what we should do is I'll be the moderator, right? And then Ray and Scott and Kev, Mike, and Brian can all go back and forth and explain how they feel about the college football playoffs because I don't care as much as you guys do because, listen, we got some group texts going on, and I woke up one morning, I think 2 weeks ago when all of this happened when Florida State was out, and I think I had 430 text messages between the two group texts that we have going on. And I'm like, I can't catch up. Like, I can barely keep track of what's going on in college football as it is. So I'll be the moderator, and you guys can plead your cases. And I'll be like, Scott, so, hey, what do you think? Ray, what do you think? And listen, you get Kev Mike on here. You're going to need to bring some oxygen because he
needs the oxygen. Oh,
the air's going to be thin. The air's going to be real thin in this little screen right here. So,
well, listen, his fingertips were bleeding because out of those 430 text messages,
429,
about 370 of them belong to Kev.
Yeah, yeah. The dude thinks like anybody, unlike anybody else I've ever met before.
Yeah, he's good with it.
I'm looking forward to it. I feel like a little bit of taste of what we got. I like the 4. I'm on the Alabama train. I have been all year.
Ooh.
I like the 4 teams they got. I am not on the Florida State bandwagon. I feel like they are where they belong.
Wait, is that
nobody wanted to see them get dragged by Michigan?
Horns.
So
I want the Horns, right, Ray? The Horns.
Ray likes the Horns. I like the Horns as well. I like Alabama and Texas in the finals. I like that game.
I love Texas this year.
A rematch, another rematch of the week 1 game, right? So let's go.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that next week. That sounds like a good time. And Ray, thanks again for coming on and joining us for the night. And it's good to be back with the band together, man. I love it. And we got to get the other 2 knuckleheads in here too. So that'll be fun.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So everybody make sure if you're listening, the Scottsdale and Outer Show is now available on Spotify. I am still waiting for confirmation from Apple Podcasts. It usually takes a little bit. So it's on Spotify. You can catch it on YouTube. And don't forget to make sure you go over to our Facebook and Instagram, subscribe, like, and don't forget too, guys, our guy Ray Bones over at The Hook Make sure you go subscribe, follow the whole 9 yards. We have a cool thing that we have planned, and we'll release some details a little bit later on, but we're going to be doing some collabing. We're going to do a little thing. So everybody stay tuned for that. We're going to try to take over, Connecticut as far as sports podcasting goes. Yes. You know, and we're going to try. We'll give it a shot. It's not going to hurt. So
run it.
But
run that shit.
What did the Cowboys say? Here we go. Here we go.
I thought you were going to say we them boys.
No, we're not them boys. No, you won't hear that out of my mouth. No.
Broncos Nation, let's ride. Let
Russ cook.
Nice.
Let Ray cook.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thanks very much for tuning in. We appreciate it. We had a lot of good viewers tonight. So everybody stay tuned. So next week we will have another show. This episode will be available on Spotify and hopefully Apple Podcasts by the end of the week. So tune in, check it out. We appreciate everybody. And Scotzo, Ray, it's been a pleasure. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, everybody. Go Giants.
Yeah. Happy holidays, everybody.